Hello, my name's Anand, and today's video is going to be a little bit different from the usual video where I explore things all to do with inner struggles and how you can work through it to move into or uncover your inner richness. So sometimes from time to time I like to just do a free-form video where I will play with some OSHO Zen Tarot cards. And if you're wondering what they are, these are cards this is what they look like. This is a very battered old box. And they help with insight. So if you have a specific question and you're unsure or you want clarity on something, the OSHO Zen Tarot cards can be a great way to get that. So before I do a reading for us, for today, for in this moment, just to share a little bit about what OSHO Zen Tarot does and how it differs from traditional tarot readings. So OSHO invited an artist called Padma to do the drawings. So these are the drawings of some of the cards here. And Zen means in the moment. So it's always about what do you need in this moment? What is the understanding in this moment? And the tarot is, as we are familiar with, they're usually about telling the future. These cards are not about telling you about the future, but they may help give you clarity in this moment on a specific issue. And they have an uncanny weirdness, or they have an ability to give you an insight on what you need right now. So you'll get the answer that you need to hear, not the answer you want to hear. There's a few ways you can read these cards. You can do a specific spread, which you can get in the OSHO Zen Tarot book. Maybe it's to do with relationships, to do with your life, to do with your past, present, future. And when we say past, present, future, it's an insight about that. Or a single card is called paradox, or what do I need to know in this moment? And that's the kind of reading I'm going to do with you right now. And before I do the reading, if you're interested in an OSHO Zen Tarot reading, I offer this. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can see for yourself what it's more about, what I offer, how much, all of that. But if that's something you would like to do, usually for about 30 minutes, you have a question, we explore through the cards, what the cards will show and what insight you will get in that moment for that issue. And the interesting thing is you can have an ongoing issue. You'll have 3 different readings. I'm not selling that. I'm just saying you might want that. And you will get 3 different ways, angles into that issue. So you might get the same card, but it might have a different meaning depending on your question. So today is Easter Monday, and when I think of Easter, I used to be Christian and very strong Christian connection and upbringing. Well, not so much upbringing, but yeah, sort of in my kind of early teenage years, I became very strong in my Christianity. And then it dropped for me. But Easter was always a time where I reflected on sort of the death and rebirth of Jesus, or the resurrection. So for me, this is a time of where winter has ended. So that phase of that going inner, in the darkness of winter, everything's starting to go outward. Everything's growing, everything's blooming, everything's being reborn. So this for me is like signaling the time of the year where everything's being reborn, having emerged out of the death of winter. So that's the kind of inquiry I have right now with these cards. What do we need to know about rebirth in this moment? Because right now in the world there's a lot going on. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of all sorts of things going on. But what within ourselves needs to be reborn or reseen or, resurrected? Yeah. Okay, so I have the cards here. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm just going to shuffle the cards and just sitting with this. And maybe you would like to sit with me if you're watching this and just sitting. What needs to be resurrected? What needs to be reborn? So what is emerging out of the winter of ourselves, in the darkness of ourselves, to be seen, to bloom, to blossom? And I am not known for my shuffling techniques, but sure, anyway, we'll do our best. And now what I do is I spread the cards. So I'm just going to move the camera down like so you can see the cards here and my mic. And then what I do with my left hand, I'm just going to press back up. With my left hand, I just move my hand along the cards. I'm going to close my eyes, just really feeling in what needs to be resurrected, what needs to be seen in this moment. So just grabbing a card, I have no idea what I've picked. Ha! Sorrow. So in this reading, it's sorrow. And this card is, this is Anando, who was Buddha's brother. And it's at the point of when Buddha has died and he's in deep grief. He's in deep loss and sorrow that his brother has gone, that the Buddha has gone. It's either brother or cousin. I can't quite remember. Now, I want you to look very, very closely. So the eye may be drawn to this crying figure. And he's crying, like he's sobbing. But look behind. Look very closely behind. And there's a partition, an opening. And it's an opening to a starry night, to a star-filled sky. And this is this moment before the dawn, before the breaking of something inside of us. That point that we don't know, we're in this deep grief or this deep sorrow, and we don't know what's beyond. We're just immersed in the sorrow, and we think it may feel like this will be forever. It's never forever. This opening and partition here signifies there's something beyond the sorrow. And also behind this figure there's something else. It's almost like something's disappearing, and if you look, it's almost like these doorways or shutters or whatever, they're disappearing because you have this white cloudy like sky, or not sky, I don't know what to call it, air, atmosphere, environment, and it's disappearing. So there's this sorrow, and this card here is number 9. It's signified by a grey colour. That's the suite of clouds representing the mind. So his mind is in sorrow, but beyond the sorrow is an opening into a dawn, into a new moment, into stars. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of stars and I think of they signify our inner star, our inner magnificence. And allowing tears to happen, allowing sorrow to arise, allowing grief to fully be experienced in the body, in the self, is also deeply healing, because when you allow sorrow fully, then new openings happen. And interestingly, in this with Anando, He was searching for enlightenment all his life whilst he was with Buddha. And he did not become enlightened until a day after Buddha died. He became enlightened. So this is signifying his sorrow, his grief, which he's gone deeply into and allowing it. But there's something of the beyond. There's something of a new opening for him. And that's what resurrection offers us. That's what rebirth offers us, a new opening. So if you're in a very difficult period right now, maybe you're in deep grief and you can see no way out, no light out of it. This card is saying, and it's been my experience too, that it's temporary. It may feel like forever, but it's temporary. You will not stay like this forever. So allowing yourself to go fully in the grief or whatever it is you're feeling, and from there an opening happens, and when the opening happens, something else arises, something else new is born. So I'll close on that note, and I will see you next week. I will see you next week for a different video. All right, bye-bye. Have a great day.